Okay. All right. Let- Hey, Eve. So welcome back. And I know this session just came out of sporadically from our discussion on Yogataras and the shift of the nakshatras and how one nakshatra is overlapping the other and how it's bringing certain discrepancy and changes in the predictiveness of this. So you're like, hey, let's make a video on it. So I'm like, absolutely. And so here we are.
Yeah, so Kapilji, first of all, I'm so happy to be back here with you. You've just been a dear friend to me, and I love you and your family.
Absolutely.
I'm here as, family in that way.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start the video right here because you just mentioned something interesting. Because do you mind sharing with
Yeah.
the
So I was just
what your
telling Eve,
moon?
we were discussing about off-grid living and all that. And I'm like, I can't sleep without dogs. Like, I need dogs around my face. I want dogs to be squishing my body. So that's when I sleep. If it's just me, it's just me and Jamie, I feel this emptiness. So once I have dogs on the bed, then I feel comfortable and I can just sleep. Especially my black lab Rambo, he'll just snug himself right next to my face. So I love that. I just fall asleep then.
And do you mind sharing with everyone what your moon is and what Rashi it's in and how close is it to your
It's in Mrigashira Nakshatra Padha 4, right around 5 degrees or 6
okay,
degrees. Sorry. Yeah.
so it's actually right next to the Ardra
Yeah.
Yogatara.
Yeah.
Now, it's so interesting that you bring this up right before we talk. So I'm going to open with a prayer as I always do.
Hmm.
And I'll put it up here for people to follow along because sometimes I get asked for this. Just before we start, I'm going to honor Lord Vishnu, as the grahas are said to be eyes of Lord Vishnu. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrusham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogibir Dhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanatham. Om Namo Narayanaya. Narayani Narayana Lakshmi Narasimha. Om Namah Shivaya. Okay,
Hey.
let's just dive in.
Okay.
So you'll have to excuse my voice a little bit. I'm a month out of surgery.
Okay. No worries.
Interesting on Ardra.
Yeah.
Injury to the body. So let's start in a very simple place. And actually, I want to mention our friend Laddu Baba, Togi Ji.
Yes.
So he did this wonderful presentation that he so kindly shared with us for the Parashara conference. So anyone who hasn't seen that, I encourage you to see it. It's really brilliant, and we won't be able to cover all of this Ganita here. And I actually want to hand over the Ganita to Togi. He's an astrophysicist,
Yeah.
so he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, mentioning that, and you guys are having your own conference in Florida, right?
We are at HUA this in
Okay.
December. Yeah, we are. We are.
Okay.
We're actually going to be hands-on observing the stars. We're going to have Falita Jyotish, Ganita Jyotish, and Dr. Raj Vedamji is going to be joining us. So it
Okay. Is
should be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't know if are you guys full or can people still come and join you guys?
Oh yeah, people can still join. It's on the Hindu University of America website, HUA,
Okay.
and you'll see the astronomy retreat.
Okay. So if you guys want to go meet Eve, this is your chance.
Yes,
Yep.
yeah, Togi Ji and I both, and Dr. Raj Vedam, and a lot of my students are coming.
I would
And
come, but I have to take care of 7 animals. I can never
here
travel.
we go, back to the animals. So let's go
Yeah.
back. Okay, so I'm just showing everyone this little beautiful presentation from Togi Ji, and he so kindly has written
Oh, is
down.
this like a 3D? Am I losing my mind?
No, it's not 3D, but it's colors are popping
It
out
looks,
different.
yeah, it looks weird. What?
And
No.
so he's colored it, yeah. But I just wanted to show everyone where I got his Yogatharas from. I'm going to open my presentation now, but please see his presentation because if this talk that Kapilji and I are about to have resonates
Yeah.
with you, there is a lot of research to be done on nakshatras in general,
Yeah.
uneven nakshatras, yogtaras, the way that the ancient rishis were doing this. So what is a yogtara? Let's start there. What is a yogtara? So it is the most prominent single star
Yeah.
in a nakshatra. And typically, like you'll hear Togiji say, it's the brightest or closest star to the ecliptic. Usually. Now there's a few that are a little strange.
Like a Swati.
Swati's way off the
Yeah.
ecliptic. And it aligns, wait until you see what degree it aligns with in sidereal Rashi. So
Okay.
this is the kind of thing I want to provoke thought right now. Being a nakshatra researcher myself and throwing myself into it physically by
Yeah.
physical observation, Togiji and I have discussed this a lot. When I lived in Tucson, I would just be on the roof looking at the nakshatra, watching the moon go through everything every night.
And I just
And
want to add that I've always felt more Ardra than Mrigashira. I don't display any traits of Mrigashira at all. It's all Ardra. Both
and
like,
this is an interesting question to your viewers. This is
yeah,
an interesting questions to sincere students here. Um, we're going to decide, and by the end of this, I want you to decide what's really going on in your
yeah,
chart. Why is this a big deal? Your birth imprint, your dashapati at birth,
yeah,
the birth, the star that is starting the Vimshotri dasha
yeah,
matters.
yeah,
So you would be born into Rahu Dasha
yeah,
instead of Mangal Dasha, right?
right,
And that's a big deal. Now, is it that, or are both activated and we take the Mangal Dasha, but we take some Falita or some effect of Karma Phalam
yeah,
from the combined effect of Mrigashira
mhm,
and Ardra Nakshatra, Rudra?
right,
So in the old days, they would call it Soma and Rudra. They would just call it by the Devata's name. So you may hear me do that a bit. So
yeah,
would we take the effects of Soma and Rudra for you?
yeah,
Then this, by the end, I want you to be thinking about this and let's see.
okay,
Because I have some charts for us to look at that have your degree.
okay,
And it is interesting. I have to say it's pretty compelling. And
oh,
I've done this with other nakshatras too. Ardra and Jesha is another one. You're going to see there's some key ones that if you have a certain pada, you need to be questioning what if another influence is coming in. Okay, so Yogtara, we've established what it is. It's usually a single star, and it's going to be the most potent star in the nakshatra. Easy with the one star nakshatras like Rohini. Rohini's a red eye of the bull. It's just one star. Gets more difficult with stars like Kritika, which is the Pleiades, you know, constellation technically, which is also off and
yeah,
almost, if you observe the sky and depending on where you're observing it from, these things look different.
yeah,
Okay, now I have some questions for Jyotishis here and students. Take a minute to just think about this. Yogtaras were the main thing used in predictive Jyotish in the old days. So these guys did observe the sky and they did actually they were mostly relying on when grahas would come close to Yogtara or be exactly aligned or occult it, especially the moon. If the moon occulted a Yogtara, there's a whole section in Brihat Samhita that's going over most of this stuff. So another thing I want to bring up to Jyotishis, modern Jyotishis, with this advancement of tech and all this AI and stuff, guys, AI does not compare to your intelligence whatsoever. I'm correcting ChatGPT on a regular basis. When
yeah,
I put something into ChatGPT to format things for me, it changes. It actually doesn't know what people think it knows or what it's capable of. Your direct perception can never be replaced by artificial intelligence. And I want you to understand that the darshanam, the actual witnessing, the witness and that which is witnessed, the intimacy of that witnessing is part of the intelligence of a Jyotishi. So, should modern Jyotishis observe the sky? Yes. Should you have direct eye contact with the Yogatara, with Chandra, the moon, with Surya, the sun? Yes. Direct perception. Let the light penetrate your eyes. We don't know what intelligence is within a star. We think they're burning balls of gas because we're brainwashed by a school system.
Yeah.
How do you know what a star really is? There's so many things unanswered that it's odd that we take all these limited answers. Okay. And it's also odd that we jump to superstition. Both are extremes. Have your own direct experience with the sky, and you're going to understand why after Kapilji and I speak about this. You need to actually go look at these stars. Do not let a book or a program replace your brain and replace your direct perception.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started here. Let's take a look. And Kapilji, what I can do is on my website, I can upload these PDFs
Okay.
and it'll make it very easy. My website,
Yeah.
guys, is jyotisiddhanta.com. And I'll have a place to upload these so Kapilji doesn't have to fuss
Okay.
with this. Okay, so I have Dr. Aditya Togi here. I have his Togi G's, Ladhu Baba's stars that he's listed, and I have Bhaskara's listed here. Forgive me, I can't use graphs well. I made a mistake, you can see, but you can still see you can all see all the stars. Now, Togiji, just from his own looking at it, majority of these line up exactly with the old observations. Okay, so you're going to see that these are the points of the stars, and I want you to notice a few. I want you to notice a few of them. A few of these get really tricky. The ones on the ecliptic are less tricky. The ones going further from the ecliptic are more tricky. And what Togiji illuminates in his Parashar talk I about Chitra and Swati, guys, is worth hearing it. Okay, is worth going and listening to that because in this hemisphere of the world, if Jyotish is an observable science, which it is, it's an observable vidya. We're using local space. Otherwise, we wouldn't use a lugna. We wouldn't use a rising sign of something over the east. We wouldn't even have a 10th house, which is above you. We
Yeah.
wouldn't have a fourth house, which is below you. We wouldn't have a seventh house, which is setting over the west. This is all measured off a local space. So we are in Jyotish, we are observing with the eye what is coming up over the eastern horizon in a certain location. So oddly, Swati is going to end up at 0 degrees Libra. I
Yeah.
want you to just contemplate that. Swati is going to end up about at that 0 degree Tula. The Yogatara of Jeshta Nakshatra is going to be at 15 degrees Anuradha. So what's happening there? Okay, now we have this tricky, really tricky thing with Ardra as well. What degree did you say your moon is?
Six something, like 6.1 arc minutes.
Look, look at the degrees.
Yeah. It's happening at 4 or almost
It's
5.
almost 5 degrees.
Yeah.
Your moon is right on Yogatara, pretty
Yeah.
much right on the
It
Yogatara.
actually literally just moved even past it. So it's like it has
It's
taken
got
that
the,
quality,
yes,
taken that
and
energy.
that is ancient people would do what you just did, Kapilji.
Yeah.
And honestly, looking at you and how refreshing you are with self-honesty
Yeah.
and just being yourself in that kind of courageous way, this also is more of a Rudra quality. That's even why I asked you. I said, what degree is your moon? Because
Yeah.
I always knew it was Mrigashira, but I was like, this is not a Soma quality.
Yeah. No.
This is a fearless quality. I don't care what people think of me. I'm going to be myself.
Yeah.
This. So I just, I'm not always into personality Jyotish, but there are some things that will stand out that are indicatively like they're without a doubt the detail is belonging to a Devata. Like Rudra is is unashamed about being himself. In all the stories, Lord Shiva, he's not, he doesn't care. He's just going to be himself,
Yeah.
regardless of religious convention, regardless of this. He's a rebel. Soma is not. Soma's a rebel in a different way, running off with people's wives, okay?
Yeah.
So, so he's
Yes,
the,
I'm not running it off. I'm not running off with anybody's fun.
so
I'm running
so
off with dogs, yes.
this is the thing I want to highlight here. So guys, you'll have this. You can go to my website, download this. I'm really careful with all of these things. I make sure that you have all of the classical Shastra. This is why what we're doing at HUA, we're going to be illuminating a lot of the things from Shastra that people usually even look over and ignore. And a lot of this is much more scientific than you would imagine. It's not superstitious. So I have names of prominent stars in Vedic literature for people if they just want to start observing the stars and looking it up for themselves. We have a hunter star, which is not to be mistaken with Sirius, by the way, and I've highlighted that. A lot of people mistake that.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, so this is just this stuff, the Shishumara chakra, which I've often talked about even with the Pi team. I have it all here, all translated. Now, Rudra, what's said about Rudra? Because that's going to be our example for the day.
Yeah.
What is actually said about Rudra as far as a nakshatra? What is actually said about Rudra? Now, Rudram is really what opened my heart at 17 by just hearing it. So, this one to me is a very special devata. Lord Shiva Mahadeva has always been in a special place in my heart. So I can attest to the fact that the Rudram itself, if you go to the Ajurveda, if you go to these various places that you can find versions of the Rudram, because there are various versions of it.
Yeah.
One of the things that you're going to see in the Rudram is this begging Rudra to aim his arrow somewhere else. Like, please don't harm us. Don't. Now, this is key. I want all students listening, all people interested in this topic to listen carefully. So we're asking this guy who's all powerful, and in the Rudram, he's seen as gold, shining gold. Okay, so he's ferocious and he's light. He's full of this shining light. And his arms are said to be strong, right? We've got Mithun Rashi, the arms of the zodiac, or the arms of the Kala Purush. I really would love students to start reclaiming Sanskrit for this. So the arms of the Kal Purush in Jyotish is Mithun Rashi. So you have the shoulders, the arms.
Yeah.
So, and he would be Rudra was be in the heart of it. So they're talking about these powerful arms, pulling back the arrow. He's a hunter. We even have numerous stories about Rudra or Lord Shiva blessing hunters. In the south, there's a famous one. There's even the Jyotirling that is linked with Vayu Tattva in the south that you can go and visit to for as a remedy for Vayu Tattva.
Okay.
That's related to the story of a hunter. So there's all of these associations with Rudra not having this distinction of that you have to be this pure Brahmin to win his affection. Uh, by the way, there's a whole Upanishad on what makes a real Brahmin, and it's not bloodline. Sorry.
No,
It's,
it's
it,
knowledge.
it's in the Upanishads, guys.
Yeah.
I look, if my teacher didn't tell me to teach this, he was of Kshatriya origin, actually. But the
Yeah.
guy was a Brahmin. He was born of a royal family, but his nature fit all of those qualities. He was born in Nagpur to the Kalchuri dynasty, but he met his master early, and he fit all of the qualities this Upanishad talks about as a real Brahmin. So this Upanishad is important. That's also on my website, guys, because I gave a talk on that at the Parashar conference. So, but Rudra's known to not even care about that. Rudra is known to not care if the person eats meat, if the person does this, if the person does that. Now, I'm not advocating for violence here. I myself don't eat meat. I have in the past. I have.
Hmm.
I'm not shaming anything here. I myself don't eat it. I choose that myself. But I'm saying that be very careful because, the curse of Daksha's yajna, it should be a story that's also on. I'm just realizing that PDF is on my website too, under
Okay.
what is inauspicious, the full story. And my brother did this beautiful artwork for it. The full story of Daksha's yajna should drive home the fact, be careful who you're judging. Don't open your mouth. Don't make that judgment. You think they have a habit that's lowly. You're thinking this is the Daksha's curse, is that pride, the pride of cleanliness, the pride of we're the Prajapatis. We do things this way. And he's accusing Mahadeva of pride the whole time, not seeing it on his own nose. Lord Shiva's covered in ash. He's surrounded by ghosts. He's a naked guy. He deals with intoxicants. He's not your guy that is going to see purity as the external form of purity. To him, purity is transcendent of external qualities. So he doesn't bow to Daksha because he knows he's greater. In the old days, if you bowed to someone if you talked poorly about someone who is greater than you, something bad happens in your life.
Hmm.
If someone forces you to bow to them that is not as great as you ruin them. Shiva was not bowing to Daksha, not because of pride, but because of, if I bow to my father-in-law, I will ruin him. I am greater than him because he still has this sense of false righteousness. So
Yeah.
this is a big thing with Rudra Nakshatra. And it's a big thing with the Rahu Nakshatras. It's a big thing across the board with Shiva Trimurti. Is this overcoming of shame related to the external version of purity and cleanliness and all these false concepts that we've been restrained by in society, pretty much to keep us under control.
Yeah.
So when you look at Rudra, you're going to see the rebel. But I wanted to highlight something here that is going to come out in these charts we're about to look at. The arms exert effort, and we know that the Shakti of Rudra's nakshatra has to do with the power of effort. And one of the concrete karma phalitas of Rudra nakshatra is harm or injury to the physical body, having to overcome health problems, having to overcome physical ailments. That's one side, that not everyone with Ardra has this, but when it does come out, it comes out fairly strong on the person. Having to exert effort in some walk of life, forbearance. When you hear of Rudra burning bright, when we're burning bright, we're energy is emitting from us.
Yeah.
That's why Punarvasu, the star after, is restoration of that energy that we just let out. So in this way, Ardra is like the nuclear bomb. And Punarvasu is like the restoration of all that sacred, all of that force that was just released. So Ardra is it not only exertion, but it's got this force behind it. Now, which means the leaking out of energy. So feeling drained, feeling like you're overworked, feeling like your life requires too much effort, feeling
Mm.
like you want to retreat into the woods. If any, Kapilji, any of this.
Yeah.
And
I work
so
14 hours a day or sometimes 15 for the past 15 years. I haven't
this
stopped every
is
single day.
this is an Ugra
Yeah.
quality. Mrigashira Nakshatra, Soma Nakshatra is not an Ugra quality.
Yeah.
It's not of Ugra quality. It's called Somya. It's called very gentle, very soft.
Yeah.
Whereas the karma falita coming from Ardra is fierce. It's Ugra. Now, Tikshna means more fierce, but Ugra is it's harsh.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this is why sometimes they feel relief from even more tamasic actions, like more tamogun. Even in the spirituality, you get some of your agoris, you get some of your tantrics, you get some of your people connected to more severe tapas as well. I mean, some of your people connected to Kriya Yoga because that is from Lord Shiva himself. But I want to highlight here as well the beasts, the hunters, the animals, the exertion of energy. So we're getting a profile, we're getting a taste profile of Rudra here. It's very wild, it's very fierce, is connected to being perhaps even like a little bit uncivilized. But this is a relief to Rudra because he sees civilization or as being civilized as restraint.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, I have it all broken down for them word by word. And the losing of fluid. This is related to the reproductive exertion too. Mithun means to copulate. In the tantras, it means people coming together for sexual union. The exertion of fluids here in Rudra, this shouldn't be overlooked because this whole area of the sky from Rohini to Punarvasu is a part of the reproductive process of nature, of animals. This is the hunting. For Brahma also in Rohini pursues and hunts,
Hmm.
contrary to popular belief. It's hunting the soma.
Yeah.
Okay, so the soma is in the middle of these two hunters, the Brahma, the Prajapatis, and the Rudras. Now, there is something going on in Mithun Rashi with the pairing of opposites or the pairing of people coming together. And so it used to be a man and a woman. It wasn't brother and sister at all. It was
No,
not
no.
anything that you know this.
Yeah.
So there is the loss of reproductive fluid here and the rest needed to restore it in Punarvasu. Punarvasu is where all the birth is happening. It's where all the gods are born. So this is actually a divine sequence that's happening. You get human reproduction more from the Ashlesha to the Uttarfalguni, but you get the reproduction of nature and the birth of the elements and all of this through the Rohini to Punarvasu. So you get this deva type and natural type of reproduction in the population of creation in that area, and then you get the human side of it with Magha. Purva Falguni literally gives children. That's its fruit.
Yeah.
So not to be overlooked here. I just want to state that. Okay. So let's see. Why is this not moving up? Let me make sure I got the full PDF for us here. Okay. Yes, I do. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the charts then. And you guys will be able to find all of this later, so don't worry. Um, okay. Can we witness the effect of this? Let me lower my hands. Okay. Can we witness the effect of this? And I mean, I think you know my answer is already going to be yes. Now, how it's working, I'm going to leave up to the individual researcher. I'm going to leave up to the student. I'm going to leave up to people that maybe perhaps are more brilliant than myself. Let's see if we can witness it on a basic level. Doris Day, a famous Mrigashira moon. She has a moon close to your degree, Kapilji.
Okay.
It's in the Gemini portion, and it's right on the Yogatara. Now, not many people know this about this woman, but she was one of the first animal activists when it wasn't cool. This is before it got trendy, before it got cool.
Yeah.
She was butting heads with people. She was look at this, be kind to animals or I'll kill you. Does that sound like Soma?
No. That is straight up Rudra.
It's like, does
Yeah.
that sound like Soma? We're going to see her chart, but I just want to show you. Look at this face over here. This woman, so she's known as her for her polite character and all these things that people are going to relate to. Mrigashira, this is why I want to ask people, do you think both Falitas are coming out somehow? But for sure, the Yogatara is having an influence here on the moon. Okay, so may I become the Lord of animals. Pashupati, this is the desire of Ardra, of Rudra. This is
And I
from
was
the
telling you, I wanted to also get a miniature cow at my farm. I wanted to get a pig and just be around animals. That's
You
it.
were just saying this.
Yeah. I
Literally.
don't like interacting with people. I only want to be around animals. I don't know what it is. Throughout my life.
Kapilji, this is what I was thinking of you, and I was just thinking also, do you mind if I mention the bhava that your moon is in?
Yeah, 12th power.
And that's the natural Upapada Lagna.
Yeah.
You have a very protective, powerful partner.
Yeah.
I mean, she's
Actually,
one
yeah,
of the
she's
most
real Rudra.
protective mothers.
Yeah.
No, but she's wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
she's not fearful. This is
Yeah.
not a fearful woman.
No.
And what did she study?
Chinese medicine.
Did you know Rudra, the other part of the Brahmanas here,
Yeah.
and even in the Rudram and in the Rig Veda, who's
Mhm.
the Lord of medicines?
Rudra, the very first person.
Rudra is the Lord of medicines. He's Vaidyanath. Now, Soma is considered to be the medicines itself,
Yeah.
but the user of the medicines, the one who has the intelligence to use them, is Rudra. So I'm just highlighting some little things here that are concrete karma phalita, concrete, okay, from
Yeah.
your life, not just speculation. Okay, I got to turn this hand raising thing off. Okay, so we have Doris Day here. We have her chart in fourth pada Mrigashira. Be kind to animals or I will kill you.
Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to highlight here is how through dashas, and look, let's say that there's a version of this that's a little bit of unequal nakshatra, and that if the moon is in your unique position where you have it, Kapilji, let's say like she has it. Let's say that some Falita is coming out of both. Let's say maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know, but let's say maybe. We're not all knowing. We can make that speculation. Maybe. Let's say that's happening. So Mongol would start off the dasha. Either way, I mean, it would change her dashas dramatically. Can we see that? Let's see if we can observe that her dashas are in alignment, though. And this is what really got for me. Now, you know I use lunar calculations for nakshatras and solar calculations for Rashi dasha. I do not use solar calculations for nakshatra dasha. So if anyone looks at this, guys, this is why I am only using lunar calculations. I
The
refuse.
360-day dasha.
Well, you can use 360 or you can use 354. So
350.
the ancient there's three different years here that people should try out really. You need education needs to happen here because the 360 is the day mentioned in the Rig Veda. This is the ritual day and it's most commonly mentioned. This 360-day year is 365 is barely mentioned and it's used for they did know of but it was used for very specific things.
Yeah.
It was not used to calculate most things. They were they were fluid with their intelligence. So for nakshatras, you never see any year, but a nakshatra year, which is a 27-day cycle, or
Yeah.
because they wouldn't count Abhijit there, or you see the 29.5-day year of the Tithi year,
Yeah.
which is a relationship between the sun and the moon, but it's still a lunar calendar. A lot of the lunar calendars will use this. So this is why this is important to understand. You need to try and see which one actually works. Yeah, without going, a lot of people approach it the opposite way. This is really bad for research.
Yeah.
Let's say I get in my mind, this should technically work because this is logical. You've already destroyed your research because research starts at I don't know. And
Yeah.
so how do I really even know what's logical? Because how do I know what angle this should come at? It's like the people that attempt to prove something.
What are these like fraction equations I'm seeing on your chart? 5
Oh,
over 4,
sorry.
13 over
That
1.
is the nakshatra number. I should tell everyone that. So in the
Oh,
program Deva Guru, uh,
okay.
you will have nakshatra 5, Mrigashira,
Yeah.
fourth
Oh, that
pada.
4.
Yeah.
Okay, because my
Nakshatra
dyslexic
11.
brain goes crazy when it's too many numbers.
Oh God, no. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, this is so let's look at this now. So since you brought that up.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at her dashas, did she have any phala of Ardra Nakshatra during Rahu? So if we look at Rahu,
Yeah.
she did. She had an accident. I just talked about, you're going to see this in the next chart too, an injury to the body. And she had a relationship to marriage to a psycho. She called him a psycho. He beat
Yeah.
her. She had physical injury to her body.
Okay.
Now that's interesting. I'm just saying, as a researcher, it should spark your interest that that's happening. Next thing is her first animal activism as an official role as an activist was under a Rahu Antardasha as well. So now here are the themes
And that's
of,
where Moon would become active.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly, the Dashapati, but maybe Mangal and Rahu are working as Dashapatis. This is where that nuance is coming in, and we need to be really careful. So we don't know if it's working as one Dashapati or she's getting the fruits of both.
Yeah.
This is what I would want students to really consider, that the ancient people were not rigid. They weren't rigid that way. They were deep thinkers. So I have some things here in the PDF that people can read through. It looks like the PDF didn't save in good quality, so I'll save it in a better quality
Okay.
for when they can download it. Okay, here we have another one. Ella Fitzgerald, Moon in the same degree. So all of you are about around the same degree. Okay, late Mrigashira.
Okay.
Okay, can we see anything in her life? Was her life more Mrigashira? Was it more Soma?
I don't know who this person is.
Oh, she's a famous singer, amazing voice.
Okay.
So pe many people will know who she is. Amazing
She
voice.
kind of looks like Billie Holiday.
Yeah, she is just like amazing voice. I mean, I think she's even got like a queenly title in this. I mean, amazing voice. So anyone could look at her discography because she's profound feeling in her voice. Okay, so this is that pain in the voice. Now we're already getting more into Ardra territory with that as well. Now Moon is the singer, so we have to consider Mrigashira. Okay, is there something coming out with Soma as far as in the voice? Is there something? Moon is said to be the singer, but pain in the voice, how they talk about in the Hindi or Urdu
Hmm.
poetry, when you want that pain, that's in some singer's voice that just calls you home, like the pain of separation. Now, she had that, but let's go off of concrete things. We're speculating with that. Let's go off of concrete things in her life. So, look at this comment from the Rudra, and this is one of many. May the arrow of your bow spare us everywhere. Please aim it away. Don't harm our physical body. So let's look. Let's see if she had any Rudra themes happening. And I have here just for people like some quotes from her, some themes in her life. And one of the ones I want to highlight before we look at her chart.
Yeah, go to YouTube because I think I need to get new glasses.
No, 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 no. It might be it might be, I need to save this in a higher
Okay.
quality. Okay, so I'll read it out. It says her life was marked by hardships following the early death of her mother. And we're going to look if would Ardra have anything to do with this, leading to a period of truancy, stays in reform schools. She got beat in reform schools. I mean, once again, that effort in Ardra, that survivalism in Ardra. Usually, Ardra has a difficult upbringing or a parent that may be abusive. There's a theme with this.
Yep.
She had the stepfather, scenario that people speculate that was very unhealthy, very bad, possibly abusive. So her mother dies in an accident. It was a car accident where her mother sustained injuries to her body. Moon, mother. Okay. Her mother died in a car accident, third house, third house. Mithun has a lot to do with accidents and things like that. So, okay. So now, and winning talent. This is another thing with Gemini itself. The Rashi itself is very talented. Very talented. All of the nakshatras within Mithun Rashi are very talented. So she eventually becomes, just one of the most celebrated singers of her time. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look. Here we got that
Wow.
fourth pot of moon again. Yeah, this didn't save in high quality, so I'll make sure I post it.
Okay.
Here we got that fourth pot of moon again. Now we do have something unique happening here where Ardra Nakshatra gets hymned, and a lot of my students know that I follow hymned nakshatras very closely because they have a huge effect on the person's life.
Yeah.
Now, and I have a lot of evidence of this. I have chart after chart after chart. So Ardra Nakshatra is hymned here. So it's a little bit tricky because either way, she's going to have a lot of Falita from Ardra. Now, what is unique is this that moon degree, and Doris Day did not have hymned Ardra Nakshatra.
Yeah.
Okay, so we keep that in mind. She has Ardra moon, 12th house. Okay, also has some other hymn nakshatras. It's a very interesting chart to study.
Did her
So,
mother die at 13?
so here we go, 15.
15.
Close. So look at this. Rahu Dasha
Okay.
activating the Ardra. Mother dies of a severe car accident.
Wait,
And
did mother die in Rahu Venus Antradasha, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes. So,
Reform school. Rahu.
and she was beat in the reform schools. She was constantly abused through the Rahu Dasha. She was also oddly discovered during that Dasha for her talents. So, for all this suffering and trauma, and I say this to Ardra people that have really gone through the classical Felita of Ardra, where there's all this intensity around childhood. There's all this intensity around this, intensity around it. A good word for Ardra is intense. Whenever someone has gone through this intensity, I always tell them something's going to be celebrated about you. Something is going to be very unique about you that no one else has. So something is going to be so unique about an Ardra person. Look at Rudra. There's no other Devata like Rudra. He's not your run-of-the-mill Devata.
Yeah.
He has all the talents. He plays music, he does medicine, he does all these. He's so talented. So, so the person shines as this unique individual, yet they have all this possible trauma, right? From the Ardra Nakshatra Phalam can be now, did she have trauma to the body? Did the Ardra come out in that way? Let's take a look.
Did somebody in her family also commit suicide?
That's interesting you asked that. She may have had that, and Doris Day definitely had that.
Okay.
Her first husband, that was not a good person, ended up committing suicide.
Okay.
That is very interesting that you asked that, Kapilji. That is a theme with Rahu Nakshatras sometimes.
Okay.
Or the feelings of wanting to escape something so bad you want to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Those kind of, but so if you look, she did have multiple medical procedures. Her health was a constant. She even had an amputation.
Oh,
Now, there's a reason for this through other nakshatra Phalita. There's a reason why this was happening in Mercury. It's in Kritika, the cutting. She had an
so
actual
see, Ketu's with moon, so Ketu's going to cut something of the moon.
cut
That's
something of
okay.
the moon, and that Ardra is hymned. Also, Shani is the legs, and from the Dashapati, Shani goes third. And in Nakshatra Jyotish,
Yeah.
whatever goes third from the Dashapati is at risk of accident, of sudden events, of anything. And Shani goes third from the Dashapati. So when she entered the Mercury Shani the amputation, or sorry, a lot of health problems flared, resulting in the Ketu period with an amputation, like you said, injury to the moon.
You said something I remember even when you were at the cabin that third from the Dashapati is what the result is going to be of the Dasha.
It, yeah, the dasha, see, the third from the Dashapati has a lot of mystery, and there's a reason why Jaimini Rishi focused so much on these argalas, like the third, 11th,
Yeah.
all these principles with 3 and 11 and all these principles with planets doing this, that, and the other. Okay, 3rd and 11th are really potent places. I'll just say it, flatly. Those two places end up being very mysterious and they hold a lot of Phalita for the dasha. So whenever anything goes third from the Dashapati, and I'm talking about Nakshatra Dashapati. I'm not a Rashi maestro like Sanjay ji or
Yeah.
yourself, actually. Kapil ji, I have to give him this shout out right now. We have a little chat. We have a private chat with him and Togi ji.
Okay.
And Kapil, you've said so many things about this naughty Jyotish
Yeah.
that I would look back at and go, you know what? That's a really solid thing that you just said. It's a really,
Actually, even this suicide that I asked you was based on that.
yeah, some people have this blessing with jumping around with Rashis and progressing them and doing all
Yeah.
that stuff. My things always come through nakshatras, and I'm really impressed by this Rashi thing. I've always been impressed by Sanjay ji and yourself, actually. I think you've become like, since I've known you, that's really stuck. And
Yeah. It
yeah,
just that's what because you know how my brain is not good with numbers or higher education. I just have to see something like a painting, and only then I can do anything in my life, including astrology. So for me to like even dive into, okay, this Yogatara and this Shadbal and this, I'll get lost. I'll be the worst astrologer then. For me, it's like I'm seeing the chart and I'm just taking my eyes as a painting stroke and I'm talking. I don't know what it is.
it's working for you. And there were a few things that even when I came and visited you guys, you nailed a few things that I was like, that's interesting because
Yeah.
I've met naughty astrologers and not all of them can do that. I'm telling you, I feel like the Jyotish Vidya has to choose you.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It
It just is allowing me to do this because otherwise if the way it's really a super science and I'm nowhere close to being that superior brain. So I don't know how it works with me. It just,
You're
man,
more intelligent than you're giving yourself credit for, but I have noticed something comes out of you with you just know.
no,
You know something.
yeah,
And no, that's profound because some of the things you said, I was like, you know what? No one else said this. I actually have seen that. And
yeah,
I went back and looked. And so no, it all, if you know how to use all these branches, what's interesting about karma falit is that you can see that it's destined when a really solid karma falita comes out in someone's life, like some kind of fruits of karma that could not be avoided.
yeah,
You're going to see this really interesting thing happen. You are going to recognize right away that from multiple techniques you see the same event.
yeah,
It How is
yeah.
that? Is quite profound. It's quite, let me tell you, that's quite profound. Because I have heard Sanjay ji say some things that I'm like, I'm seeing this from a totally, and it's
Yeah.
technical. It's not that I'm just intuiting it.
And you've also said this before, like I had somebody who got a reading from me, they got a reading from me, and you told them this, and I also came to the same conclusion, but yours was completely different from how I looked at it. I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
I
mine's
don't know.
nakshatra based.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mine's nakshatra based, and yours was coming off of your angle, and it was the same
yeah.
Felicia.
I don't know what mysterious angle that is, but I can't
It
define it.
worked. No, Kapilji, it has worked. I think so this is for food for thought, guys. Like I just want to say if we go back to the Yogatara page now, you can see how many of these Yogataras you can play with because
Yeah,
and just look at your own chart. At the retreat Togiji and I are doing, this is a lot of I have a lot of the Purans here, and if
Okay.
I'm just subtracting, I'm just extracting, I should say, a lot of the portions that talk about observing the sky. And this is fascinating because these guys weren't using programs. They were it's
Why?
direct
No. Can you
darshan.
imagine we're so reliant on like software and apps that I don't think I will be able to or be even interested in Jyotish if it wasn't for making my life so much easier. I mean, so
It's
now imagine them writing like literally Gitas of Jyotish back then.
it
With
is it
precise
is
precision.
it is so
You see.
yeah, it's really so so here, let's go back here, guys. Let's look and I have Togiji's presentation. I think what he's going to do is also like talk on Dr. Paiji's. He's going to like just talk about this because I don't want to ruin it. He's so good at the Ganita portion. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm more of a Falita person. I think let's leave that to Mr. Dr. Togiji.
Yeah.
But so let's go back and just look at some of these degrees then. So you guys can make up your own mind. Some of these Yogtaras. Now, is if anyone knows who Shivabhala Yogi is, anyone know who that is? That's one thing we can look at for a true Mrigashira. True Mrigashira, it's his Lagna.
Yeah.
And he's born in India. So an interesting thing in
Yeah, I was
India,
gonna
the
ask you, how about some traits of the Mrigashira? So we can also,
so let's pull up pull up his chart here. Let me go to my
and it's
charts and
funny, today is actually Mrigashira moon.
yeah. Oh, wow. That's so
Yeah.
impressive. Like, it always happens that way.
Yep.
With the pie team too. We always have this, all of us. Okay, let's get his chart here. I'm just have that down there because my charts are private. Uh,
Okay. You can unshare the screen and then open it up
it
if you don't want
is
to show it.
it's okay. I just put it down like that.
Okay.
Okay. You can see my Google search for English words here because I don't English. So to Kapil,
Yeah.
you're not the okay, so let's look at you're not the only one with intellectual. I have something with
Yeah, this is like
English
NASA
language.
software for me.
Okay, well, don't worry. I don't want you
Yeah.
to overwhelm yourself. I'm going to zoom in
Okay.
on the parts I want you to see. Okay, don't overwhelm. I know this
Yeah.
is a lot. Let me put this on a South Indian chart for the viewers.
Okay.
Now, does anyone know who this yogi is? Because he actually is he's well known. You can look him up. And he did severe tapas. This is a genuine yogi. Okay, severe tapas. And he did this unique, uh, it's a directional tapas where you get the siddhi of each direction, Eastern, and he would see Mahadeva. Mahadeva would give him these instructions. He was in Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
Okay, so he is a true Mrigashira Lagna.
Oh,
Right on the
Mrigashira Lagna. Okay.
right on the Yogatara, and
Yeah.
it lines up. I actually looked at an astronomy program to see it coming up over the eastern horizon for him, and it does. He
Yeah.
was in Andhra. It matches very well. So, and his birth time has a very good rating, and it's his. I think his either his father or someone in his family was a Jyotishi, so his birth time is recorded. Um, so, and he had interestingly predictions from birth about his life, and they ended up being right. This Jyotishi was really good. His family, I think it was someone in his family. So let's take a look. What do we get of the fruits of Mrigashira? Do you know anything about them?
Mrigashira, there's a theme of chasing and stalking that plays out, object of their desire.
Well, he did
And
that through yoga,
yeah.
but look at this.
And they
The
want to leave a legacy.
Okay, because Soma,
So
right? Well, he
yeah.
did. He definitely did. Now, interestingly, yeah, both of those things are accurate. I'm just going to quote text. I'm going to quote Shastra here. Okay, just so people know this isn't just pulled out of my head or
Oh,
something.
can I just say something? So now
Yeah.
here's a trait. Literally, we've had Okay, and I think you already know this, where me and Jimmy had to encounter women stalking me in California and in Texas. Yeah, and we had to install like straight up serious security cameras and everything. Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know it got to the point of security camera, but I witnessed
yeah,
that first Parshar conference that we all went to.
yeah.
Kapil,
Yes.
see, that impressed me about you.
This,
It impressed me about you. You had no interest in groupies.
no,
Like meaning males are stereotyped a lot. I
right.
feel bad for men. Men
Yeah,
are stereotyped a lot. I have to say this. And the average stereotype of a man is that they love women chasing them and stuff.
yeah.
I can say this about Kapilji. Oh my God, he was not having it.
No, no, I was
He was
not into it at all. No.
yeah, you were not having it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's interesting. So being hunted is,
yeah.
see, Rohini and Ardra are said to be the hunters because Brahma hunts Soma, or the daughter, right?
Daughter, yeah,
Which is in the next nakshatra, the
yeah,
deer head, Mrigashira. So Mrigashira gets hunted. So that's how the Falita of Mrigashira might be coming out with you. So you might have a dual
yeah,
Falita there. Okay, so yeah, he was thousands of people showed up for him, just or hundreds in his little village after he finished his last tapas. They don't even know where they came from. It was like people just heard about him doing this tapas and
yeah.
they would follow him. So yes, that is definitely a fruit. Now, the Shakti of this nakshatra talks about weaving and clothing. And in other words, it's got something to do with nourishment and basic provisions. So putting clothing on your back, farmers, agriculture, these kinds of things. Did that show up for him in early life? Let's just take a look. I've got all these events here. Now, here's the prediction of his family's astrologer. He was born into a weaving family. Literally was born into a family that dealt with fabrics. I mean,
My mom dealt with it.
did your mom deal with fabrics too?
Yeah, for she was in clothing business from 1995 all the way till 2016.
There you go. Isn't that cool? I mean, it's just like a
Yeah,
flat Felita. Now, see, his is right on the Yogatara. His is not having anything to do with Ardra Nakshatra.
yeah.
Or can we say this too? The Sampat Nakshatra from any Nakshatra may have some kind of Falita. All of the gains in his life was through Mahadev. And he actually had a vision of Ardhanarishwar. This is an uncommon experience. He was very feminine by nature, even people would say this, but he would often say that half of his body was Gauri or Uma, Parvati, and the other half was Lord Shiva. So he had a strong link to Ardhanarishwar. Now, this actually is coming from somewhere else in his chart. It's not actually the Ardra. That has a link possibly. But if you know about the Nishta Nakshatra, I have to tell you, it is Harihar. It is the half Lord Vishnu, half Lord Shiva. And there are also references to Ardhanarishwar for Dhanishta. These are old. Okay, these are old. So he does happen to have two things happening here. He has a naughty nakshatra trine with Mangal. So he did fierce tapas. He has Mrigashira, Chitra, and Dhanishta in a trine. So that means the Mangal naughty trine is always going to be producing Falita in his life. Whenever you have a naughty trine of the nakshatras, that Falita is always coming
And
out.
see,
So
Dhanisha is a penance too, right?
yes, that's what I mean. So for him, he's got all of it. He's even got malefics in it, which malefics do good tapas. They're ugra. They're krura. And tapas, if you look at his tapas, never think you have a bad chart because of malefics. That is a complete lie. It is not true. Um, what happened with him, as a matter of fact, is when he started his tapas, look, It was in Mangal. When he started his severe tapas, it was in Mangal and it was of directions. Isn't that interesting too?
Because all those planets in the ninth would become active.
All those planets in the ninth and
And
10th.
Lagna.
Yeah, and Lugna and fifth. He's got that.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, all the
He's got
trine.
a Dharma Nadi trine, and his tapas was so severe, his hands were frozen. If you see him blessing people after that, his hands were like, his hands look weird. He was just, I mean, it was so severe. He almost didn't survive the Western direction tapas. He almost died. He got even got bit by cobra. I mean, all kinds of things happen. And if you look, Shani rules Western direction and Shani is woken up in fourth pada. Dhanisha is an Akala Mrityu Nakshatra. It's
Yeah.
an early death nakshatra. So therefore, when he actually had that woken up, he did face death. He did. His tapas was very, very severe. And it was even predicted that he would die early or his dad would die early. So I don't know what his Pitru Karka is Rahu, interestingly. So anyway, if you use 8 Karka system, you can use 7 Karka and get different things. I'm not a stickler for that. I encourage people to do their own research. Okay, so he did severe tapas and he almost died through the Rahu Dasha. Um, yeah, this was his, it was the Rahu Dasha where he got bit by a cobra. He got all these things happening. Now, if we go back and look at this, remember, malefics can make you complete a very severe tapas.
Yeah.
Please never tell people that they have some brain, like they have some mood disorder because they have Rahu. This is becoming so silly when we hear these psychological diagnoses. People saying that they can tell a narcissist from a chart and things. First of all, it's mostly narcissists who do that kind of thing. They like to smear other people's reputation. Narcissists like to smear other people's reputation. So please, guys, I'm begging you, no personality diagnosis through this. Stay away from that.
Yeah.
I just look at it more like Somya and Krura. The people that I've met that always gossip about other people, they're always the issue. So like let's throw out Rahu as mentally ill and all that. I can't even do it. I can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Um, so if we look at Rahu as a tapas graha and a graha who's krura and maybe his falita, the falita that he's giving out in someone's life is going to be cruel, krura. Then we put him with this cluster here of all this woken up Danishta, I
Yeah.
mean, or all this stimulated Danishta in the previous dasha, we get a little bit of a profile. But Rahu is known to be Krura with tapas, and he's here, in the ninth house and all of that. There's other things going on that I won't mention here, but I just wanted you to see that when Mrigashira is clean, let's go back to the Yogdaras. When Mrigashira is clean, and just without like there's no hemming nakshatra here, uh there's no anything else to this mrigashira besides a naughty trine, which is going to highlight it in a unique way. We do see him born into that kind of family. He's born into weavers, and so some of the direct phala is coming out. It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Also in his birth imprint, that Rahu was awake, meaning stimulated because he's born into Surya Dasha. So that was the thing I didn't want to mention too much about his Rahu Dasha. It was destined for him to do that tapas. Anything awake or stimulated in a nakshatra at your birth, when that dasha comes around, it's going to be a huge dasha. So because he was born into Surya Dasha, if we put Surya as a lagna, anything in this self quadrant here, any of these dashas are going to be huge. Usually they're going to be pronounced, but I will say more than that, the ones that are awake in the awake, like stimulated. So Rahu's in a Surya nakshatra. That's why he's awake. So in the birth imprint, we put Surya in the lagna. This is just Urushi Parashar said to examine the chart from the
Yeah.
Dashapati. So I'm just looking at his first breath there. And if we look, Moon is awake in the ninth. He had a ninth house life.
Who
And
is
it's
this again?
this is Shiva Bala Yogi.
Okay.
We can actually, for everyone,
Oh,
do.
the one, okay, the same guy. You just changed the ascendant.
No, I just changed the ascendant,
Oh,
right?
I see. I'm like,
So what we can do here is show everyone who this is. Ignore my looking up dictionaries, guys.
yeah.
Exposing myself. I don't care. I'm not that bright. Okay. I'm bright with things that are like, I could only do well in science in school. I didn't do well in literature. I did
Yeah.
great in science. Okay, this guy, if you look at him, if you, he just, he's a very interesting kind of yogi. Um, Very interesting guy. Just so people, this is the Shiva Bala yogi that we're speaking about because there might be others, and I don't want people to
Okay.
be misled from that. So this is the guy, and
Okay.
he actually has a website that I had visited to get all of his events.
So funny, I've always seen Taurus ascendant people a bit heavy like the elephant, like just very, just like
Tough,
heavy. Like they're just,
heavy Prithvi Tattva.
yeah,
Yeah,
Prithvi.
he has a heavy Prithvi Tattva. Yeah. I think there's some pictures here, library photos. Yeah, so he was an intense tapas for years, and when he came out, he was pretty sober and went around, teaching people yoga, real
Okay.
yoga. But so if you want to look at his life, you can look at it now. But what I'm doing here is looking at whatever. This is another little nakshatra secret for those nakshatra enthusiasts. I can't speak to
Yeah.
Rashi. But if we look from the Dashapati at your moment of your first breath, consider the grahas that were awake. That means anyone sitting in the same nakshatra as the moon. So it's going to be Surya for this. This Uttara Falguni moon is going to be Surya, right?
Yeah.
So we have in his birth imprint is Surya Jupiter technically through nakshatra year. Okay, so or through a lunar year, I should say. It's going to be Surya Jupiter, and his Jupiter's awake in the 10th house from the birth imprint. So you see this? He's got big planets awake, and when those dashas roll around, those are going to be really significant in his life. And they were. And he's a Jupiter type character. I even think it's his Atma
Father
Karka.
couldn't support him, right? Like he didn't get the support of the father.
Father died.
Ah, okay.
His father died. How did you see that?
From your ascendant of the dasha itself.
Yeah, interesting. Explain it to everyone so they know. That's great.
Just as soon as I saw Jupiter in the 10th from the dasha, that's how I knew
Oh, yes, you.
they will not get
That's
support of the father.
interesting you say that about the 10th because
Yeah.
through Nakshatra Jyotish, I've been telling the students over and over, be careful with the 10th house. It's the furthest place from intimacy. It's
Yeah.
the furthest place from peace of mind, and it has a lot of stress. So
Yeah.
don't tell people it's always going to be good. That was good, Kapil.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. Like that backs up Nakshatra Jyotish too. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything in the 10th is always, I have my eye on it because it's very stressed. It's very far from intimacy. It's very far from the fourth house. It's the furthest point.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of stress in the 10th house. Okay, so yes, his father died.
Okay.
And a Jyotishi predicted it interestingly that one of them would die. I think it might have been his father himself or something. Or his father. Yeah, it was his father himself said one of them would die. Good astrologer, good Jyotishi.
Wow.
Okay, so this birth imprint, I know now that Rahu and Jupiter are going to be two huge dashas for this guy because they're both stimulated at birth. Now, everyone's born through the womb of a mother, so everyone has to have moon awake.
Yeah.
But why wasn't he born into a Mercury dasha? Because the ancient people were wanting you to use nakshatras with a nakshatrapati.
Yeah.
Not they, otherwise he'd be born into Mercury. You can see everyone's born through liquid,
Yeah.
Chandra, Soma. And then, therefore, all of us have moon awake, but not all of us have Rahu awake and Jupiter awake or stimulated. So that's
Yes.
unique to him, and they're not going to be in this position, right? This is getting more defined and more unique.
Mm-hmm.
So he has that Abhijit also position of Rahu. Now, so if we go down here and we go to his Rahu Dasha, this is really what he became a guru in his Jupiter Dasha big time. That is actually when it's his Atmakarka and it's Jupiter. The Yoga Shastra has a lot to do with Vishaka Nakshatra, actually. I could do a whole other video on that with you at some point if you
Okay.
want to look at Vishaka. Vishaka, it actually, a unique thing about Vishaka, and I haven't written down um, things here because he just became a guru at that point. I mean, from that point onward, the Rahu
Yeah.
triggered it, and he had a mission from Lord Shiva. So one interesting thing about Vishaka, the Ucha Nicha points of the moon, we have Agni being the Ucha point within, we have Indragni being the Nicha point. All that is the fire of the Prajapatis, which is Agni, in Taurus, which is eating, like physical eating, nourishment of the physical body. So the moon is Ucha in the growth of the physical body and the and in supporting the life of a young human, like growth.
Yeah.
The moon is Nietzsche in Indragni. What is Indragni? It's nothing but the Bhujangi. It's nothing but the Kundalini Shakti. The lightning of Indra is not just atmospheric. This Indragni is sitting in the base of the spine. Okay, so you've got the Muladhara and Swati and Vishaka, but mainly Swati is the prana. It's called a Mukhya prana. It's called a prana. The Kundalini is called a prana. It's a Vayu. It's an electric one, but it's a prana. It's a special prana. So Indragni, the split, what is actually happening there? So some yogis, like I would encourage people that are really interested in this. The moon is Nietzsche, and it's also in that what do you call it? That Marna Karkastan in the eighth.
Yeah.
Okay. Moon is Nietzsche and dies there because the mind stops in samadhi. The mind is dead, meaning all this thinking, all this vrittis. Yogas chitta vritti narodaha.
Yeah.
Yoga is to stop the mind, to completely stop the twisting and all the warping of the mind. So Vishaka Nakshatra has a very unique connection to Yoga Shastra. Very unique.
And I think my son is right at the Yogatara or of Vishaka.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, because this is that connection to Mahavatar, Babaji, and all of these things, Vishaka Nakshatra, Jupiter Nakshatras in general. I want to encourage people to study the Yoga Shastras, especially if your planets are near the Yogatara. You might get a big benefit from studying Yoga Shastra if you have Jupiter Nakshatras. And
Like the
Vishaka.
Patanjali Yoga Shastra.
Well, Patanjali is very advanced. I know it's used in all these yoga studios, but these
Yeah.
people, I actually, die a little bit inside when I see the yamas and niyamas of Patanjali. No one even understands the text, and they're just talking about rules.
Yeah. That's
It's
it.
a very advanced book. The Vibhuti Pada is he's actually discussing siddhis that happen before you reach the final stage. He's not playing. Like I would even say that other Yoga Shastra books are more user friendly for the beginner, like Hatha Yoga Pradipika.
Yeah.
Because Hatha Yoga Pradipika, he's dealing with the physical body first and all those things. Patanjali's jumping straight in there. The Samadhi Pada is the first pada where he says Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, meaning let's stop your mind. Like yoga is the stopping of the mind. What yoga studio is doing that?
Yeah.
Shouldn't even be using his work, honestly. I actually feel like embarrassed when people do that because it's no comprehension of what that is. So, I would say if you're an advanced practitioner, Patanjali is for you. I would say if you are a beginner and you don't know where to find sources, Hatha Yoga Pradipika, go to the Yoga Upanishads. Here, guys, let's do this since we're on Kapilji's channel and he clearly has some strange link to Yoga Shastra.
Mhm.
Um, so a lot of people don't know about these. And there's Yoga Tantras too. Um, that people can go go to. Yeah, I can double check Google with this, but Google's right here. Here you go. Yeah, these look right. These are all. Now, most of these are really simple, and people that are in my little mantra shastra class know I've highlighted this a lot. Omkar meditation is a big part of Yoga Upanishads, and they're a big part of Patanjali as well. You never hear that either in yoga studios. The
Yeah,
one thing that Patanjali prescribes is Omkar meditation. And he even says Kriya Yoga. You know what he says it is?
yeah,
Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwar Pranidhan. That is yoga in action. So Kriya Yoga just literally means putting yoga into movement, into action. He says it's tapas, Swadhyay, and Ishwar Pranidhan. I just want all the Kriya buns to think about that. Like all the people practicing Kriya, look, those are techniques, but real Kriya Yoga, what is it? So these yoga Upanishads deal with different portions of practices. Some of them are really small, like in my little Mantra Shastra group, we're doing Nada Upanishad. We're examining that, and we're also looking at the Narasimha Tapaniya Upanishad, which deals with the Ugram Viram mantra and the Omkar mantra. So the Ugram Viram mantra of Narasimha is actually called the Mantra Raj. And each part of it is connected to a different swara or sound of Om. So we're not usually calling this yoga, but it is yoga.
yeah,
So if you have any of the Jupiter nakshatras, because he deals with the Akash Tattva, then you might really benefit from some version of practice of yoga. It could be Nada yoga, which is the nod, invoking the nod, the Brahmanad, hearing the sound within yourself. Sound is not the right word. Hearing your real voice, hearing the real voice,
yeah,
not just intuition. I'm talking about an actual sound, an actual, what do you call that? I don't even know what you'd call it. They call nod. Nod is more than sound. And then some deal with the breath, some deal with pranayam, some deal with other mantras. There's whole Upanishads on Om Namo Narayanaya. So actually, Yoga Upanishads cover a lot. Yoga Tantras cover a lot, and people like this personify it through practice. He had direct instructions from Mahadeva. So anyway, um, we should probably. I have to take my dad to the. Speaking of Ardra,
okay,
Ardra,
yeah.
etc., I have to take my dad to the doctor
I know
today.
Monica's also at the door. She's like, "We gotta go." I'm like, "Okay, just relax."
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so thank you, Evg. So hopefully we can do even like the Vishaka thing you were saying soon, whenever we get a chance again.
Yeah, if people let you know, I don't personally check comments and stuff like that. I just can't. I can't spend that much time on social media. But Kapilji, if you let me know if people want
Okay.
that, I'll
All
happily.
right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you. Om Namah